Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Decorative Survival. So, in the last episode, I did a little bit more work on, the closer bit of the path to my abbey. So, basically just over there where my crosshair is, I did some work on the road and in between episodes, I've been gathering a bit more gravel as usual. I now have a bit over 6 stacks, which probably wouldn't. I mean, it's probably getting close to enough for the road, especially, and probably is definitely enough since I have extra coarse dirt over here. So I think that is what I would like to do. And yeah, I'd like to go over to the other end of the road basically, and yeah, get started on working on the road again, which yeah, I'd like to do now. So I guess I'll get started on that and then I'll be right back. Alright, so as of recording this, the first snapshot for 21.3 has come out with the poplar trees and abandoned campsites, which is very exciting. I particularly do rather like the abandoned campsite, though it seems to have a bunch of strange things where it generates with just regular dirt, which will be filled in by grass and stuff. And kind of seems to generate rather a lot of terrain when it generates on the top of mountains and stuff. But apart from that, it looks very exciting. And yeah, that's the end of this time lapse. Alright, so I am back, and well, I have now gotten the path up to the village, which means, well, that I'll have to figure out what I'm doing with the village. So I was kind of trying to figure that out. And I'll probably need to switch all of the roads to path at once because it's very sudden just switching straight to path block, so I'll probably want to do that. There's also this really strange double road here, which does mean that there's quite a bit of space, which is probably good for me because there's this nice straight line through the village that I can run the main road through without having to remove anything again. So I'll probably run that up through the village here and then probably over to here. And yeah, well, I'll probably want to sort out some other stuff, like why there's a tree that's just embedded straight into the ground here, and yeah, probably that kind of thing. So I guess I'll get started with that. Why this path goes not an insignificant way, so that might be removed. So yeah, I'll get started on that and then I'll be right back once more. Alright, so I went with a slightly different style and a kind of top-down view for this because I kind of felt that the path couldn't really be shown just with a small camera viewport, so I kind of zoomed in. Anyway, having talked about the abandoned campsite, I'm going to talk about the poplar trees, which I kind of don't quite like right now because they feel a bit geometrical. That might just be me, but they kind of feel a bit pointy to me, and kind of like they're just projected rectangles from the top, which I'm sure they'll fix. Alright, so I am back, and I've now run out of coarse dirt. So I've gotten the path basically just barely out of the village, and I've converted most of the village street, in fact I think all of the village streets, to coarse dirt. So I've kind of reworked some stuff so that it feels like people have actually kind of carved these paths themselves. So kind of a lot of people would possibly be going to the armorer more, and then there's just a single path down the end of here. So kind of I think that a lot of people would be going here and then stopping and going back, and well, only a couple of people would be going down to the house, and that has kind of a second path going up here. And yeah, this one has a house here and then a farm. So farm's probably pretty well accessed, and then has but less than the farm and the house combined. So I've kind of done that kind of thing here, and I've gotten a few other things here. I've kind of split the path, so maybe some walkers go through here. So it's kind of smaller, less perfect, well, less fully coarse dirt, but like well, not really carriages, but I think that's a bit late, but kind of horse and cart style things would go through this side, and therefore it kind of has an extra amount of coarse dirt. So that's kind of going to wrap up this episode. I've run out of coarse dirt, and I've also think I've run out of time. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, goodbye.